There's a pasuk in this week's Sedra. The pasuk says, in the Teichecha it says, "V'nasati esareichem charava." I'm going to destroy your cities. Vashi moisi es mikdasheichem. I will lay desolate your mikdasheichem, your mikdash, b'lashon plural, b'lashon rabim. It's a free afanart darshins. Mikdasheichem, mikdash, mikdasha, mikdasheichem, l'rabos, bati knasiyos, ubati midrashos. Which is the basis for a Mishnah in Megillah, Daf Chav Ches, Amud Aleph. And the Mishnah lists a number of halachas that are relevant to Bati Knasiyos, Bati Midrashos, B'churbanon, even after they are destroyed. V'odam Yehuda, Bati HaKnasos, Shecharav, Ein Maspidin B'seichai, Ein Mavshilin B'seichen Chavalim. You can't lay out ropes, you can't spread out nets, you can't use it as a shortcut. Various halachas. Shenemar, Vashi Moisies, Mikdasheichem, passing in this week's parsha. Kedushas on af kishahein shaimamin. Their kedusha remains even after they're destroyed. So if the kedusha is there even after it's destroyed, it obviously follows that the kedusha was there b'yeshuvan while it was an active Bais Knesses to Bais Medrash. And there's a machlokes rishonim what exactly is the yesod of this kedusha. Is Yereim who says it's part of his Mikdash Tiro. It's a kedusha deiraisa. There's a machlokes Ramban and Ran what it is. Seemingly they're Rabbanon. There's an Netziv learns even they hold this deraisa. But upon him, there's definitely Kedushas based on Knesses, based on Medrash. And based on this, the Gemara brings a brisa of various Yisurim prohibitions that are negaya relevant to a based on Knesses and based on Medrash, according to I think nearly all the Rishonim. B'Yeshuvan, while it's an active based on Knesses and based on Medrash, and the brisa says. But the knasiyos ein noyegin bahen kalas roish, ein oichlin bahen v'ein shoysin bahen, v'ein yoysin bahen in mitaylin bahen, v'ein nechnasin bahen mechama pnei achama, b'gsham pnei agashamim. Rashi, the first three are kalas roish, achila ushtia. Rashi says that we're goyres v'ein oichlin bahen, which means that achila and shtia is a pirish of kalas roish. And the Isser is B'esem Kalas Roish. The Girsa in the Shulchan Aruch seems to be that it's two separate things, and the Gaon says that was the Girsa of the Rif and the Rosh. It doesn't seem like we have that, but our Rambam seems to have that. But nevertheless, there's clearly an Isser based on this of Achila V'Shtia and based on Knesset and based on Medrash, which is the question whether it's Kalas Roish or not. There may be an Afkaminas, but Akapanim, that's the Bir Braisa, which Allah Psuka and Shulchan Aruch. Simen Kaufman Aleph, Sif Aleph, Bati Knasiyos, Bati Midrashos, Einoyigin Bahen Kalas Roish, Kigoin Schok V'Hitel, V'Sichim V'Tela, V'Ein Oichlin V'Shoysim Bahen. It's often halacha, and in fact, as Shuvas, I think it's a Rashbash or something wrote down. Many of the Achronim that they Shabbos afternoon they used to gather in Shul to learn. I think it was to learn the parsha, and they used to drink water, and they sent him the Shiloh. And his lashon was loy toiv heim oisim, and they shouldn't do it, and you go to the Hagmar Megillah. So it seems like it's often Isser. So what are potentially the heterim to drink seltzer in Beis Medrash during night seder? So ultimately that's what we're trying to figure out. So there are be'ikr three heterim. The first one is it's time to eat or drink in a Beis Medrash. The first one is the Sudas Mitzvah. Which if anyone has a way to apply night seder to Sudas Mitzvah, I'm open. I couldn't figure out how to do that one. The other two are either for Talmid Chachamim, people that are learning, or that the Beis Medrash was built al Tanai. So to begin with, the first one is the Gemara says, and Daf Chav Zayin Amud Bais, Chav Ches Amud Bais. I'm sorry. The Gemara says, Omar Rava Chachamim v'Talmideihem Mutarin. They're allowed to pashas do all these things of the Brisa. In the Beis Medrash and the Beis Knesset, the Amar B'Shuban Levi, my Beirabanon. Why is it called Beirabanon? Beisa de Rabbanon. It's the house of Rabbanon. And Rashi says, Beisa my Beirabanon. Lama Karin Bati Midrashos Beirabanon. Why are the Bati Midrashos called Beirabanon? Lefisha Beisam Hu L'Chal Davar. Rashi seems to learn that Talmid Chachamim are allowed to do Kol Davar or whatever is Asr in the Brisa. It would be mutter for a Talmid Chacham to do in the Bais Medrash and Bashish Bais Kedushas, which is the Lois Gepaskin in the Rambam. The Rambam adds one word. The Rambam says in Parakid Aleph Tefillah, Halacha Vav, but the Kenasiyos, but the Medrashos, Einoyigim Ben Kalas Roish, V'chulei. I won't read the whole thing. And at the end of the halacha is V'chachamim v'talmidehem mutarin lechol v'lishdois bohen midoichek. And he adds a word that's not in the Gemara, the word midoichek. So where does that come from? So the Kesef Mishnah explains that there's another Gemara down the Amud that seems to be a steer to this Gemara. The Gemara brings a Maisa. The end of the Brisa was that on that the Gemara brings a Maisa. Ki hadar Avina v'Rav Ada bar Masna. They were walking with Rava v'kashayli she'olta. They were asking him shaylas. Asa zilcha the mitra. Along came a storm. It was raining. Ayeli the Beit Knishta, and they went into the Bais Medrash to shelter from the rain and to continue to talk and learning. Amri, and they said, Haida Ailinon le Beit Knishta. This that we went into the shul. Lav mishra mitra, not because it was raining and we were afraid we were going to get wet, not for protection. Elam yishum de shmaitza ba'yitzilusa, because shmaitza ba'yitzilusa, and it was disturbing our learning, and therefore it was mutter for us to enter the shul. Asks a number of the Rishonim, and the Kesef Mishnah says this is the source of the Rambam. The Chayr Talmidei Chachamim are allowed to use the shul for their tashmishim. So why did they have to come up with excuses why they were allowed to go to the shul? Because they were learning. Says the Kesef Mishnah that the Rambam said based on this Gemara, that it was mutter for a Talmud Chacham, that Rava said, who was married the Hayshmaitza, it's mutter for Talmud Chacham to use the Bais Medrash is only midaychik. That's the Shita of the Rambam. That's in the Shita of the Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch in that halacha that I began previously continues. V'talmidei chachamim v'talmideihem mutarim lecha v'lishtois b'hem midaychik, which is Shita of the Rambam based on the theory of the Gemara, and that's the Yishuv. The Ramah, however, brings a Shita Haran. V'yesh oimrim debebeis hamedrash afilu shaloi midaychik shari. And the Ran asks the same stira, and the Ran says no, different Yishuv to the stira. This that Rava said that it's mutter for Talmidei Chacham, Lecha v'lishtois, or Kapanim, all these things perhaps, in a Bais Knesses, that's not a Bais Knesses. That's only in the Bais Medrash. That's the Bei Rabbanan. This Ma'aser Ravina and Ravada and Rava, that was the Bais Knesses. That was Taka Aser, unless they had the reason of Shmaitza Vayitzilusa. Based on that, the Ran is not matter Dafka Midoichik. The Ran has a different answer. So it comes out of the Ran that a Bais Knesses is Asr Afilu Midaychik, and the Bais Medrash is Mutter Afilu Shaloi Midaychik, which is essentially the position of the Ramah. Now it's interesting that, and the Bir Halacha points this out, that the Ramah says Dafka Achilu Shtia, and the Shita Haran L'chayr is Kol Davar. And the Kesef Mishnah on the Rambam seems to say Afilu Achilu Shtia. The Bir Halacha points out this anomaly. And that's the Chayr Lamaisa, that's how the Ramah goes. He comes out with this Achra. Lamaisa, so this is the Heter for Talmidei Chacham and Shaloi Midaychik. So what's this nice Seder? Is that gonna help for those that are coming nice Seder to be able to drink seltzer in the Bais Medrash? So, Oba Yashiv, I saw an Asher Yish, he says on this halacha, in this Ramah, Talmidei Chachamim v'Talmideihem, V'hainu oisam haloimdim b'kviyas b'beis hamedrash v'loi hani sheboim rak l'sha or l'shasayim afilu b'kviyas. Even those that come every day, even for an hour or two, they don't have this heter of achila v'shtiya shaloimi akapanim shaloimi dechek. Either way, that these Talmidei Chachamim might have, people that are learning b'kviyas. So the heter of Talmidei Chachamim l'chayr is going to be a difficult one to apply. So we're left this one out. What's the halachas of a Bais Medrash nivna al Tanai? It was built al Tanai. So it's based on another Gemara, also on the Chav Tes Amud Beis. The Gemara says, Amar Abasi, Batei Knasiyai Shebe Bavel al Tanai Hein Asuyin V'Af al Pikein Neige Ben Kalas Roish. But Akapanim the Bais Batei Midrashim of Bavel were built al Tanai. Now, what does it mean they were built al Tanai? So there's a number of shitas in the Rishonim over here. So Rashi right away. It says al Tanai al manas sheyishtamshu bahen. Rashi seems very parav al manas that you should be able to use it. Seems to be very, very open to allowing people to do basically anything they want. And the Bais Medrash that was nivna al Tanai, which is also the shita of the Arzarua, which is brought down in the Gais Ashri. He says as follows. He asks the question, Arzarua asks the question, and a number of Yishayim do, as we'll see, at the Maisa that we read earlier from the Gemara of Ravina and Ravada and Rava, that they went up to a Beit Knishta, and they had to have the reason of Shmaitza Boy Tzilusa, L'chayra of Bati Medrash Shabbat Bavel, which they were Nivna al Tanai, so what was the issue? There's no Isser. A number of Yishanim asked this question. And the Arzarua says, the Inu Machmir an Avshayu. They were Machmir, Be'etzem it was Mutter. Afal Pi Shahaya Mutter Afilu B'Yishuvan, Umutter Lacha V'Lishtois B'Bati Knasiyos, B'Bati Midrashois, Afilu B'nei Adam She'enon Talmidei Chachamim, Ve'in Zayin Afilu Nechavu. In God, even once it's destroyed, you can't use the plant. But upon the sheet of L'chayr Rashi, and certainly the Arzarua, is that B'Bati Knasiyos Shabbat Bavel, that al Tanai, they were nivna al Tanai, is a heter to be mishtamish with it l'chol atzarich. However, Tosfos is chaylik, and Tosfos based on the Gemara later that you see that these Amiroyim were reluctant to utilize the Bais Medrash for stam purposes. And Tosfos says Rotza Loimar, but the Knasi Shababavel al Tanai in Asuin Rotza Loimar, calls man shein betelin the Chazina bebrais dilyel. Amiroyim, they didn't want to go into it. And Tosfos' shita is that Tanai only helps b'chorbanon that is mutter to be mishtamish with it. That shitas are Tosfos. And this is also shitas Haran, shitas Haran is a bit of machlekes achronim how to learn shitas Haran. But he quotes a Ramban, and he says, Shal Tanai hina suyois hainu le'inyin shem hutzurchu anshi ha'ir l'hachil b'hananiyin or l'ashchivam sham mutter. And then he says, "V'hu adin l'chol tzarich yaniyim v'chein chachamim utarim lihanis behen v'hu shehutzurchu lahem kegoyin sheyamokim dachok l'talmidim." So it seems that the Shitas Ramban and the Ran is the Ran who held it earlier that Talmidei Chachamim do not have a heter in the basic Knesset at all, but a Tnai helps to allow Talmidei Chachamim b'doichik to use a basic Knesset. But that's what it means b'Tnai or for Shar Tzarchi Mitzvah maybe for Aniyim. The Achronim that learned that in the Ran b'Tnai helps for everyone b'doichik. I think Ramesh learns that there are, and it seems to be machlokes Achronim had to learn the Shitas Ramban and Ran. But Akapanim Shitas HaTosfos is that but the Knasiya is Shalbavel al Tnai Hinasuyin just means that Becharbana after they're destroyed, it's mutter. And the problem for us is that the Mechaber passes like Tosfos. And Siman Kufnan Aleph, Sif Yud Aleph, says in B'shas Binyan Beis HaKnesses Hisnu Alav L'Shtamesh Boy Mutter L'Shtamesh Boy Becharbana. But Lamaisa, before that, the Tnai is not going to help you at all. Aval be Yeshuvah while it's an active Beis HaKnesses or Beis HaMedrash Leimahani tonight. I feel b'charbani l'tashmish maguna kegayin zriya v'cheshbainos. Then it's going to be mutter. So, Lamaisa, what are we going to do? So there's a Birkei Yosef. Birkei Yosef, the fascinating Birkei Yosef, doesn't say much, and he just in Siman Kufnan Aleph. He says, "Ein oichlin v'shoysin bahen, aser lishtois mayim beis haknesses, beis hamedrash, mishe eino talmid chacham, marash ben Rashbaz Siman Reisha Ein Daled." All the tshuvas Rishonim, all the Achronim bring, and he says, "Dvarim stumim, v'aminog ato shesu ha'am mayim beis haknesses ad kan l'shaynim." The minig now is that the people drink water in the beis haknesses. Doesn't explain. So this Birkei Yosef is quoted by the Bir Halacha. Bir Halacha in the beginning of Sif Aleph, he says as follows, quotes it. He says, "Asher l'sheis mayim beis haknesses, shuvas Rashbash, Siman Reisha Ein Daled, Va'minog ato sheshoysin ha'am mayim bebeis hakneses birkei Yosef. V'efsher shesoimchin ha'olam al ha'soivrim debati knasya shebechutz la'aretz al tnai hein asuyin u'moyel af b'yeshuvan. Meaning Shitas Rashi, Shitas Rashi v'arzarua. Even though it's not get passing like that in Shulchan Aruch, not get passing like that in Ramah, Yosef Lamaisa brings it the minog is like that Lamaisa. That's the Birkei Yosef. So what's the few shaylas in that? Maybe to explain that a little bit. There's a Ramosha in Shuvas. He has a shayla about someone who wants to bring a seeing eye dog into Shul. You got to bring animals into Bais Medrash? Yeah, no. So he goes by Arichas to be magdir that the hagdara of bringing a seeing eye dog into a Beis HaKnesses would be the same as a chil v'shtia. So if you could be matir chil v'shtia, you could be matir to bring in a seeing eye dog. So then he learns up that Ran, and he says the going passing like that, v'yishlam ilismaich, that l'chol adam shas adchak tnai helps, and therefore this is a shas adchak. Someone needs a seeing eye dog, you hang up the shul otherwise. So ba'atzam, you could be matir like that. For this person, which has adchak, based on Shitas Haran, that the going taka passing is like, and this is Zikr shas adchak. But then he says something fascinating. Va'af la'asois mishte mikriyas chasen a bar mitzvah noigen l'hakol av she'ein behen av she'yesh it's blurry she'esh b'zeh in mitzvah v'chasidim noyagin b'chol bate knas yoy shalahen lahatir af b'davar harishus mamish ka'achila v'shtia b'yem ha'yartzeit. So the chasidim are makel about this. In Cain muchrachin loymar, we have to say shenoyagin kirashi v'agoyis ashir b'shem arzerua shemuter al tanai v'afilu b'yeshuvan even while it's an active Beis HaKnesses la'achila v'shtia v'kahagavna af b'loy doichek. And he says the minog of Klai Yisrael, I think Henkin also says like this, that once the people are noig like this, so that's what Moshe goes on to explain. He says shemina shenifsik ata kain lahalacha af im ulai rak b'doris ha'achroinim eschila linoy kain. He goes at length to explain why once the minog, even after b'doris achronim, people started being noig like this. Lamais the halacha is nikfa like this, and therefore he's talking about Shas Chak. But Agav Orche he seems to say that there's makom lechatchilak upon him to go like that, and he goes back afterwards at his Shas Chak and Mele Yesh lahakol. It's another shayla. I don't know if we have time really to get into. That if you're going to pass him like the Arzarua and Rashi, that betnai b'yeshuvan Kedushas not chal on the Beis HaKnesses, so then you run into some fascinating shaylas. There's a halacha psuka, the Rambam put on a Shulchan Aruch, that every town is mechuyev to build a Beis HaKnesses. And there are many rayas that there's a chiyuv like that, not just to have a place to daven, but to have a Beis HaKnesses. And Shav Henkin has a big shayla. He says if you build all the Beit HaKnesses al Tanai, are you yoytze this chiyuv? The Be'er Halacha seems to say you're not. And Rav Henkin said that remembers in Europe, the minhag was that every town had a small shul. He called it something shtibel, I forgot the word for it, kalta shtibel. Then in that shul, they did nothing other than daven. And he says, Kenira, that minhag came from the fact that they wanted to be yoytze this din in Shulchan Aruch, that you have to have a shul. And at the same time, they wanted to build the Beit HaKnesses al Tanai, they could use it for other things. So to be yoytze that din of having a Beis HaKnesses, they had one small shul in town that used for nothing other than davening, and then they would build the other ones al Tanai. But it would seem that if all the Beit HaKnesses Bisman Hazar are built al Tanai, we have difficulty being kind this din of having a Beis HaKnesses. That's for nothing other than davening. And if there's anything other than a Osiris in Kedushas Beis HaKnesses, should be. Yes.